I cautiously walked through the dimly lit aisles of Walmart, my heart pounding in my chest. There was an unsettling feeling in the air as if something sinister lurked in the shadows. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes followed my every move. As I picked up a few items from the shelves, I noticed a man out of the corner of my eye. He appeared to be in his early 20s, with a sinister smile playing on his lips. His gaze was fixated on me, sending shivers down my spine. Unease washed over me, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just my imagination running wild. I continued my shopping, glancing back every now and then to see if the man was still there. To my horror, he was always a few steps behind me, blending into the crowd effortlessly. It was as if he knew my every move, my every intention. My pace quickened, but his steady pursuit remained unhindered. As I made my way through the aisles, paranoia consumed me. Every rustle of a shopping cart, every whispered conversation sent my heart racing. I was trapped in a nightmare, unable to escape the clutches of this predator. Suddenly, I felt a chill down my spine. I turned around and caught a glimpse of the man, his face contorted with a sinister grin. Panic flooded my senses as I picked up my pace, desperate to find an exit, a way out of this nightmare. But no matter how fast I ran, he was always one step behind, his presence growing ever closer. With each passing moment, the air grew thick with tension, as if the entire store held its breath. And then it happened, a sudden rush of movement, a vile assault on my senses. I felt something wet hit my legs and buttocks. Disbelief washed over me, my mind struggling to comprehend the horror that had just unfolded. I looked down, my eyes widening in disbelief and disgust. The fluid glistened on my skin. It couldn't be, could it? At first, I tried to convince myself it was just spit, a sick prank gone too far. But deep down, I knew the truth. It was unmistakable. It was semen. Terror gripped my soul as I stumbled towards the store's security, my legs feeling weak beneath me. I couldn't erase the image from my mind, the violation that had taken place. How could someone be so twisted, so deranged? The authorities were called, and the man was apprehended. His name was Frank J. Short Jr., a name that would forever haunt my nightmares. He claimed it was a mere accident, that he had a cold and it was the result of a sneeze. But the police, their keen instincts, and the evidence gathered revealed the chilling truth: it was not an accident. It was a deliberate act of malice. My world shattered as I learned that this was not an isolated incident. Frank had done this before, not just at Walmart, but at Kmart too. He preyed upon unsuspecting women, his perverted desires fueling his twisted actions. The realization sank in: this was no ordinary stalker, no mere obsession. Frank J. Short Jr. was a monster, a predator lurking in the everyday places we frequented. His actions defied comprehension, and the thought of others falling victim to his vile acts sent chills down my spine. What had started as a routine shopping trip had morphed into a nightmare, forever etched in my memory. The innocence of those mundane errands had been stolen from me, replaced by a haunting fear that lingered long after the incident. In a world where monsters walked among us, I couldn't help but question the fragility of our safety, the darkness that hid behind seemingly ordinary faces. The world had forever changed, leaving me scarred and forever cautious. For behind the veneer of normalcy, there lurked the sinister, waiting to strike when we least expected it. Before we continue, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. I shivered as the icy wind whipped through the parking lot of the South Carolina Walmart, sending chills down my spine. The holiday season was supposed to be filled with joy and warmth, but sinister darkness hung in the air, casting a shadow over everything. Little did I know, I was about to witness a horror that would forever haunt my dreams. Entering the store, I was greeted by the familiar hustle and bustle of holiday shoppers. The cheerful Christmas music playing overhead seemed to juxtapose the foreboding aura that permeated the atmosphere. As I navigated through the aisles, searching for the perfect gift, an uneasiness settled deep within me. It was as if something sinister lurked amidst the cheerful decorations and merry facade. My attention was suddenly drawn to a commotion nearby. Curiosity piqued, I followed the whispers and concerned glances of fellow shoppers, leading me to the bank located within the store. There, amidst the teller windows, stood a couple locked in a heated argument. Their voices rose, punctuated by sharp, angry words that echoed through the air. An icy chill ran down my spine as I watched the scene unfold. The couple's conflict intensified, their emotions reaching a boiling point. And then, with a sudden burst of violence, the man lunged at the woman, a glint of madness in his eyes. Time seemed to slow as his hand descended, a flash of steel cutting through the air. The sickening sound of metal meeting flesh pierced the silence, followed by a gasp of horror from the stunned onlookers. The man's frenzied stabbing continued, each merciless blow raining down upon the woman's defenseless form. My heart pounded in my chest as panic and disbelief washed over me. The once bustling store fell into a hushed dread, the air thick with the stench of blood and terror. The haunting image of the woman's life slipping away before my eyes would forever be etched into my mind. Amidst the chaos, the man's eyes met mine, a twisted grin stretching across his face. It was a chilling sight, a glimpse into the abyss of pure evil that resided within him. Without a second thought, he turned and fled, disappearing into the maze-like aisles of the store. Screams erupted from horrified witnesses, mingling with the wails of sirens in the distance. Authorities swarmed the area, their presence a futile attempt to restore order to the shattered tranquility of the holiday season. But it was too late. The life of Lilia Blandon, the bank employee caught in the clutches of this senseless violence, had been cruelly stolen away. As the reality sank in, a wave of disbelief washed over me. How could such a monstrous act occur amidst the cheerful chaos of holiday shopping? Yet, the most chilling aspect of it all was the response of Walmart itself. Despite the blood-soaked crime scene, the store chose to remain open, continuing business as usual. I couldn't help but shudder at the thought of walking through those aisles, the echoes of Lilia's final moments still lingering. It was as if the darkness that had stained the store's walls had seeped into every nook and cranny, tainting the very essence of the place. The world had turned upside down, and at that moment, I realized the true horror that hid behind the facade of everyday life. No longer could I view the holiday season with innocence and joy. The veil had been lifted, revealing the lurking shadows that threatened to swallow us whole. The fluorescent lights of the Walmart in Massachusetts flickered overhead as I strolled through the aisles, my mind set on finding a new wallet. It was a mundane task, an errand to be completed without a second thought. Little did I know that this simple act would plunge me into a world of horror and darkness. I scanned the rows of wallets, searching for one that caught my eye. As I picked up a sleek leather option, a shiver ran down my spine, a foreboding sense that something was amiss. Ignoring the feeling, I opened the wallet, ready to inspect its compartments. But what I discovered inside would forever haunt my nightmares. My heart pounded in my chest as I stared down at the gruesome sight before me, 10 human teeth nestled within the folds of the wallet. Disbelief washed over me, the metallic taste of fear flooding my senses. How could something so macabre be hidden within a brand new item, waiting to be unsuspectingly purchased? A wave of unease washed over me as I quickly closed the wallet, my mind racing with unanswered questions. Whose teeth were these? How had they come to be trapped within this seemingly innocent accessory? The air in the store seemed to grow colder, an invisible presence lurking within the aisles, watching my every move. Without hesitation, I rushed to the nearest Walmart employee, my voice trembling as I relayed the horrific discovery. Their eyes widened with shock, mirroring the fear that gripped my soul. They swiftly contacted the police, their confusion matching my own as they attempted to unravel this sinister enigma. Time stood still as officers arrived, their expressions a mix of concern and bewilderment. They examined the teeth, confirming their origin to be human, but the mystery only deepened. Who did these teeth belong to? How had they found their way into a new wallet, shrouded in secrecy? As the investigation unfolded, whispers of dark tales began to circulate. Rumors spread like wildfire, painting a chilling picture of the teeth's origins. Tales of cursed objects, haunted possessions, and malevolent forces grew louder, intertwining with the reality of the gruesome discovery. But try as they might, the authorities found no answers. The teeth remained a chilling mystery, their secrets locked away, tantalizingly out of reach. The wallet became a symbol of the unknown, a portal to a world where nightmares became reality and innocence was shattered.